Hey guys, what's up? I'm Noah, this is Analog Resurgence, and today I'm going to be talking about Super 8 projectors. One of the best things about shooting movies on film is having the ability to project and watch what you shot on an actual projector. And I don't mean one of these. I mean one of these. This is a Super 8 projector. One of the coolest things when I was a kid was whenever my dad would pull one of these out and we would all gather around and watch Laurel and Hardy shorts on old Super 8 and regular 8mm prints. That to me is just one of the special and unique things about shooting on film, is being able to thread up a projector and turn off the lights and just hear the motor running and seeing the film pull through fast enough that all those images merge together to create motion. There are a ton of different projectors out there, different models of different qualities for different formats. But today I'm going to break down the elements of my Super 8 projector in order to help you guys understand the basics of one. So again, I'd like to point you guys towards a great reference for Super 8 projectors and pretty much all things Super 8. It's a website called FilmCorn that I've talked about for cameras and all that information in the past, but they also have a section about Super 8 projectors on their website as well. And I'll throw that down in the description. So I'm going to break down the functions of my personal Super 8 projector, which isn't a particularly super high-end one or anything crazy special, but it's nice, it's small and compact, and it's always worked really well for me. It's a UMIG 614D, and it features all the basic functions that you can hope to find in a Super 8 projector of your own. So as a basic rundown, Super 8 projectors are meant to be used with reversal films. Reversal films are films that you shoot in your camera and they go through a specialized chemical process and come out as a positive film. Whereas negative films are shot in your camera and they go through a different chemical process and they come out as a negative. So the choices right now, if you're shooting Super 8 film that you want to be able to get back and actually put through a Super 8 projector and be able to watch, are Kodak's black and white Tri-X reversal film and Kodak's color reversal Ektachrome Super 8 film. Now, if you're shooting any of Kodak's Vision 3 color negative stocks in Super 8, then those are ones that you're not going to want to project because, well, it will be a negative. So those are things that at this point you want to take to labs and transfer houses to get digitally transferred so you can watch them on a computer. The great thing about Super 8 projectors, and also one of their downfalls, is that they were made to be easy to use because a lot of amateurs were shooting Super 8, so they didn't want to be overly complex. And that also means that a lot of them out there have not lasted super long and aged very well. So it's important to try and be able to test your Super 8 projectors before you put something really valuable through it. I know it's hard to get Super 8 film that is just dummy film or test film, but if you find old Super 8 cartridges or old Super 8 prints that you don't care about at all, then use those and try and run them through a Super 8 projector before running through something really valuable. Super 8 projectors can be kind of sketchy, and I have seen them eat film. Now, in comparison to higher end projectors for formats like 16mm and 35mm, all the bigger stuff, you don't need to thread up a Super 8 projector manually. They're mostly manufactured with auto load features. So all you have to do is thread the film into the front and it will automatically load it. So Super 8 film will usually come to you on a plastic reel like this from the lab, and you load it by putting it on the arm at the very front of the projector. Then you take the beginning of the film here and put it into the front here. You want to make sure that the film is cut cleanly so that the projector's claws can grab the sprocket holes and pull it through. That's really important. Projectors operate by pulling and moving the sprocket holes on your film. So if you have film that has a bunch of really damaged sprocket holes, then it can't safely go through a projector because the projector won't be able to grab it and pull it and move it through properly. The film should also be coming off the reel counterclockwise with the perforations facing out away from the projector. Inside of the projector, the film path looks like this. It enters here, it makes a small loop up and then down in between the lens and the bulb. Then it exits out the bottom and up to this area. This is where you need a take-up reel. If you're lucky, your projector will come with one, and it sits at the back and holds your film as it comes out of the projector. This here is your bulb. Now on larger projectors, a bulb can actually blind you. A Super 8 projector bulb will not blind you. It can get pretty hot in some instances, especially once it's been running. Now most projectors have the ability to remove a side panel here to access this area. Now in my projector, you can pop the bulb out pretty easily. And most projectors are very similar to this, and all of them have the ability to remove and change the bulb if they burn out. Now the other side of the projector contains springs and motors and belts, and I'm really not going to get into all of that. It's not really necessary to go digging around in the back of all these projectors, especially for Super 8, because it can be really hard and difficult to repair and service these super old projectors at this point. I will explain though that between the bulb and the film is a spinning shutter-like mechanism. This is controlled by a motor and a belt, and it moves fast enough that prevents you from seeing half frames or spaces between frames. This projector has very simple controls on it, and here I can switch it on for threading the film, and this won't turn the bulb on yet and just lets me get the film ready. Now past that, I can set it to forward, and this is go. This turns the bulb on and lets me watch my movie. Turning it back around, I can put it into reverse, and this will move the film slowly backwards through the projector. It won't be very smooth, but it can do a little bit of reverse. Then past that, I can rewind the film. So when the film is all the way at the end, I can rewind it outside of the projector across the top here. Now threading it back onto my original reel at the front and switching it to rewind will spin it very quickly from one reel to the other. Just make sure if you're rewinding or setting it to rewind, you always want to do that outside of the projector across the top. You don't want to try and rewind it all the way at that speed through the projector because it will damage the film. Now beyond those controls, I have this switch here. So many Super 8 projectors also have the ability to project regular 8 film as well. Regular 8 film has smaller frame sizes with different sprockets, but the same width, meaning it can still go into the projector as long as you have a switch like this. This is for framing your image, and you have to adjust it for the different frame sizes of 8mm or Super 8mm when you're projecting. Now you can usually identify projectors that are only for 8mm based on their design. A lot of regular 8mm only projectors would have been designed before the mid-1960s when Super 8 was introduced. So they usually have a much more antique or vintage look to them. Whereas all these Super 8 projectors were coming out in the later 60s and into the 70s and even the 80s. So they usually had somewhat cheaper components or designs to them and a much more modern look overall in comparison to these really vintage 8mm only projectors. The framing on my projector can also be adjusted with this little slider on the top. I can further just manipulate the framing of my image until it's just precisely how I want it. This projector also has some speed control on it as well. 18 frames per second is the projection standard for Super 8 films and what you should shoot at if you want to project your film later. Also, not all projectors have a speed control on them. Some do, and some even have the ability to project at 24 frames per second, which is a digital modern standard for movies. And of course, there's the focus knob, which is pretty self-explanatory. Now this is a silent projector. In the 1970s, they did make sound Super 8 cameras and film, but they don't do that anymore. You can't record sound onto your Super 8 film currently. Modern Super 8 film does not have a magnetic strip down the side that could hold audio. So if you're shooting something and projecting film back later, it will be silent. Now, old Super 8 films and movie prints that did have audio soundtracks on them would need a sound Super 8 projector in order to watch them now with audio. These projectors typically have built-in speakers and even recording components, volume controls. Don't be fooled by one of these though, because even though it says you can record, you still can't do that. Because Super 8 film that used to be able to hold audio on them were just stripped down one side with magnetic tape, like a cassette tape that could hold audio and be recorded and then re-recorded onto later through a projector and a microphone. But again, you can't do any of that anymore, which means that if you just want something to be able to watch the Super 8 that you're shooting now and not old stuff, then you don't really need to seek out a sound Super 8 projector. Super 8 projectors are a ton of fun. There is nothing like getting your film back from the lab that is reversal and being able to project it and watch it in your living room or with your friends, or just be able to see what you've shot right out of the camera. So honestly, if you're looking for just a really fun and really unique special film experience for your own work, then I would say try and seek out one of these and try and just hunt down a Super 8 projector to use so that you can shoot reversal film and project it and watch it. Something important to note though is that film is fragile and you have to take care of it. So of course old school Super 8 projectors can eat film, and even the best Super 8 projector will add some degradation to the film that you're watching and putting through it. There's always just going to be little scratches and scuffs here and there that just can build up over time. The best idea sometimes can be to have your film digitally transferred as well, so that you always have a copy of it in case something does happen through projection. Hey, thanks so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed, and especially if you're shooting your own Super 8 reversal film, you should definitely pick up a projector so that you can watch your own work. It is so much fun. And if you're interested in supporting the channel at all and helping me improve the stuff that I can focus on in future videos, then there's a link to the Patreon down in the description. You can check that out if you're interested and head over there and see what that's all about, and maybe support the channel so that I can make even more interesting stuff in the future. And you too can have your name added to the list of Patreon credits at the end of this video and all future videos like it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.